Okay, here's a hit. We can see that he's going to hit me. This is the part of his arm he's going to hit me with. It can just be an ordinary hit, or with a swing up. I mean, the distance will be a little bit more. So he's hitting me in my opposite arm. The left one or the right one is moving in this direction. So if you understand all these factors, you can use them to your advantage. He hits me with a swing up, and I use the arm which is closer to him. The same as when we practice hits with an elbow while holding a handrail. This way you can defeat him. For example, there is a wall or some obstacle here. Okay, in our case it's a wall. So, we stand parallel to each other like this. He hits me and I press him against the wall. I can injure the back surface of his hip or the side one. Like this. Ha! And then he just slides down the wall. So, using the wall we can injure him. Again, he's hitting me. Here's a hit. We won't practice hits with an elbow, but again we'll use the wall. I mean, some rigid plane. It can be a pole or some other obstacle. In our case, it's a wall. We can easily perceive it. So, I use a wall this way. He could also have some object in his hand. We can knock this object out. Okay, we use some force to hit him here, and at the same time any object that he may have held in his hand will fall down. Or, if it's still there, we can hit his fingers. You can make him feel any pain here, and our phalanges are so that when you press on them, the fingers kind of open up. And that's why an object that he may be holding in his hand will tend to fall down. It'll be knocked out. After you do all this, what else do we have? His whole body is open here. Of course, you can have just a fraction of a section here. So, we use all these things here. Using his arm, I can press him against the wall, with his face facing the wall, like this. I've already told you about the legs. Then we can injure him this way. Okay, I helped him a little bit. But in reality his knees are injured when pressed against the wall while falling down. Or elbow and knee joints are open, so there is a high probability of injuring them at this moment. So, we have a knife. I don't step aside from the attack line. Of course, we should strive for moving aside from the attack line. But here we do the opposite thing. I use the attack line for defeating him. Now I'll do a little bit stronger. So, don't be afraid. I press his arm. Ha! And the knife falls down. Now, look at his reaction. The object is down and you can injure him here. In this position it's not comfortable for you to use your hands, so I hit him with my right leg. Look, I hit him with my heel, like this. I hold his arm. You can use it to get him under control. I bend it across my leg. If I do a little bit stronger, then his arm can be seriously injured. I mean, his elbow joint. If you don't act harshly, then you'll just get him down. I showed you some moves near the wall, but in general, we're talking about tight space. We just use this element with the wall. There are no other walls here, I mean to the right or left. But we can also do it in an elevator, flight of stairs, or some other tight space. Okay, the same stab. He's trying to stab me. The same principle works here when he stabs me. More or less in the same plane. We can do just the same. It doesn't matter, at the top or below. Okay, I block his hit, ha, like this. Or I can press the back of his head. Many people just grab the head, don't do that. We have the cerebellum and the 7 vertebrae here. Take advantage of the cerebellum. I mean hit it so that it disturbs his consciousness. In this case, the person either loses consciousness at once or you'll be able to control him for some time. I mean, their consciousness won't be balanced or stable. So, after I press his arm, I don't do anything else here. Here's a knife. Don't hold it strong. I press his hand and the knife falls down. I can hit his knee, ha. This way you can injure his knee or leg. I don't do anything with his second arm. I just press this one and hit his knee. So, he's done. Now, I get back to the second variation. I press his arm and hit the back of his head. Here's a hit. And now you can see that this area, between the shoulder blades, is open. I can press this area with my elbow. I either hit him with my elbow or with my knee. Again, he's stabbing at me. I press his hand. Here you can injure his solar plexus or stomach. If your opponent is well trained or it's winter, then of course this won't work out. There's a chance of failure here. We can use his neck, but not everybody can make him feel pain with their fingers or make him suffocate. I mean, to grab it correctly. Nevertheless, mind this option. Then we have solar plexus and spleen. It's not convenient now, but there's also a lever from this side. Here we have spleen and heart, then the ear and temporal lobe, chin and eyes. Now, we'll have a look at some simple but effective elements. Here you can also injure his eyes. Painful pressure on the arm, plus the eyes, which can't be covered. I mean, it's easy to injure them. You can do it with a kind of shot movement. A flick with 2 fingers, 1 finger or 4 fingers. Like along the strings. But you should manage to injure the eye mucosa. You don't need much force here. For example, he's stabbing at me and I injure him with my fingers. I mean, his eyes with my fingers. It's also good to add strong shout here. Firstly, it'll relieve some stress from you, because it's a fearful situation. It'll give you more freedom, and this shout will make your opponent stop or freeze. It's a very effective tool. Plus, you can also spit at him. But surely not at the moment when he initiates a hit, because he's ready for this. It'll make him even angrier. Okay, he's stabbing at me, I spit at him. He starts attacking you, and it'll confuse him. You should choose the right moment in order not to make him even angrier. Again, he's stabbing at me. I press his arm and hit into his leg. He's down. He's stabbing at me. Again, I shout at him, ah! And now, I press him down and turn his head. But you should be careful here. You can use it as an additional tool or self-defense. Because if you turn his head too much, he'll die or receive a serious injury. That's why it's better not to use such dangerous elements in self-defense. Because in this case, it can be your last self-defense. You should understand clearly what means applied area, where all kinds of elements are possible, and what means self-defense.